Alright everybody, well, this is Steve. Welcome to the Little Wood Shop and the Vcarve Pro screen capture tutorial section of our Sunday evening blog. Alright, first thing we're going to do is, before us we have a fresh open copy of Vcarve Pro. Please follow along with either your Vcarve Pro, your Aspire, or potentially I'm hoping that Cut 2D will also work for this, okay? We've opened it up. We're going to go to create a new file. Now, I told you in the introduction here earlier, the width of our material was 36 by 27. We're using KD, kiln dried material, 2x stock, so it's 1.5 inches thick. We work off of the top of our material, so the top of our material is where our z-axis starting point is. My datum position is always in the center of my material. Our unit of measurements in the United States is inches. Alright, let's get going then. I told you we're going to do an oval because it just happens to be the shape that I'm most fond of, but please, you can make this round, oval, oblong, square, whatever you'd like. I'm going to pull in the start of my first shape. I did that by going to Create Vectors, Draw an Ellipse. Alright. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight him. We're going to go to Transform Objects, Align Selected Objects, and we want to put him dead center in the middle of the canvas. Great. Close him out. We're going to come back to Transform Objects. Now we want to set Selected Object Size. However, I want to unclick Link X and Y because I'm going to manually enter X and Y size manually. I know that my width, I'm going to go 32 point, and my height, I told you we're going to go 24.0. Let's click Apply. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. Let's see if we took this little table though and we went out to 34, how that would look. No, let's go back. Alright. This is the exact same size of a client's outdoor welcome to the camp, cottage, cabin sign that I just did. I'm very fond of the size, so this is what we're going to go with. 32 by 24 by 1.5 inches thick. Okay. Now with this lit, we can go over to Edit Objects, Selection Mode, click on him twice to where you see all your nodes light up, alright? We're going to right click, you're going to copy him, you're going to right click, you're going to paste him. You can see that there is a secondary, there's a darker line because we've basically just made an exact replica of our frame. Okay, I'm going to come down here to Transform Objects, and I know that I am going to want at least a 2-inch or better border, so let's go 30 by 22. Let's click Apply, and let's see how that looks. Now basically what I've come in is I've come in an inch off the edge and an inch off the sides. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, in selection mode, I'm going to highlight him again. I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy, I'm going to right click, I'm going to paste. We've lit him up, we've duplicated him again. We're going to come back over to Transform Objects. We're going to pull him down to 28. We're going to pull him down to 20. Let's click Apply. Alright, now we see we have our two tracks. Our two tracks are starting to fall into place here. However, I am an inch from my outside border to my first track. I'm another inch in off of this track to my interior, my furthest most interior track. So I still want to put one more border on this. So let's click him again while we are in Edit Object Selection Mode. Highlight him twice. Same thing again. Copy, right click, paste. Come back to Transform Objects. I know there's a lot of repetition here, but okay, let's go 26 point. 18 point. Alrighty. Now, depending upon how this looks once our holes are laid out. Now, normally I wouldn't go with an inch between the tracks. However, I told you we're going with 1/4 inch holes. We want to make sure that there's going to be enough room between each hole to accommodate the pegs. Okay, now, first thing I want to do here, I'm going to come up. No, we won't start cutting toolpaths just yet. Let's come in and let's start creating our holes for our actual physical game pegs themselves, okay? We're going to come to Create Vectors. We're going to draw a circle. I'm going to put that circle right here. Let me scroll in. I want him under diameter, and I want him under 250 thousandths. I'm going to click Apply. Let's close him out. I'm going to come up here again. We're going to copy him. Right-click Copy. Right-click Paste. I am going to drag him down. Right there. Alright, now the next thing we're going to do, we're going to run our track. Now what I can tell you is that when you go around your board with a continuous, in order to get the 120 holes that you need, we're actually going to put in 150. So how we do that is we're going to go and we're going to highlight one round. Okay, now I want to take this 1/4 inch and I want to copy it along this vector, along this line that we've put in. Okay, so what we do is we come down here to Offset, Array, and Nest at the very bottom. We click on Copy Object along a vector. Now the holes that I want to put in here are in fact 250 thousandths. Those will be our diameter. I want to put in an exact number of copies. I want to put in 150. We'll show you why in just a minute. We click Copy. Kapow. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to highlight this one. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to put 150 in there. Alright, we're going to close this out. Now, what we're going to do, and this is going to take a little bit, we're going to figure from our starting point, we need to save 4 holes. And then we need to reduce and remove 2. So, to do this, let's go into Edit Objects. We go to Selection Mode. I'm going to start at the very top of my board. I'm going to save this one and these 2. These are going to be our starting holes right here. So we're going to get rid of this one. I'm going to hold down the Shift key. I'm going to get rid of this one and then just hit Delete. What you're going to do is you're going to go every 6th hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold down your Shift key. Hit Delete. You can also get rid of your rings now. You don't need them. Just click on them. Again, hit Delete. We're going to take out every 6th. Hold down the Shift key. And then you can right click and hit Delete, or you can hit Delete on your keyboard. Now, I'm not going to make anybody sit through this. I am going to take out every 6th hole. We're going to pause this. We'll be right back. Alright, we've gone through. Now you can see we have clearly we've removed every 6th hole. And then what happens is up here at the top, I'll put a few of these back here. When we get up towards the top, and we take out our last group, we're left with our 4 holes that we're going to start with. I end up saving these 2 right here, and what I get rid of are these 2 right here. Okay. Now, we've got a perfect continuous track of 120 going round. Now, at this point, you have your option to keep your track simple. We can put little bars in. You can put your numbers, 5, 10, 15, 20. Alright, the next thing that we want to do is how exactly do we either get our bars or our numbers in between our series of holes. Well, this is quite easy as well. We're going to come in, I'm going to highlight my outer bevel again. I can see that he's already lit, so he's already doubled. If not, you would highlight him, you'd right click, copy, right click and paste, but I've already got him there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to highlight him, I'm going to come down to transform objects, set selected object size, and you remember how we took to move this this first inner line in, we had to subtract an inch off the top and the bottom, and then an inch off each side. So we went 30.0, and then we went 22.0. We click apply. Now we see that our line and our dots are directly back through our first series of cribbage holes. However, I want to find the exact space that's halfway between this series of holes and this series of holes. So the way I'm going to do that is, I know that I put an inch between each one of these. I want to know what the halfway is. I'm not going to pull the exact 2 inches off again. I'm now only going to remove 1. I'm going to go 29.0, and I'm going to go 21.0. I'm going to click apply. That is exactly the halfway point. All right, and there's a reason why we're doing this. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring in and we're going to start to run our numbers. I am going to run Hobo Standard as my font. I'm going to run the number 5. I'm going to click apply. I am going to click close. We're going to grab the number 5 from down on the bottom. I'm going to rotate him. Now I'm going to eyeball the bulk of this. I'm not going to sit here and try to hold exact. But I do know that that line that I'm setting this center node on right here will in fact drop this number 5 dead center. Okay, we're dead center there. The only thing I may want to do is I may want to adjust the rotation a little bit so we have a nice smooth transition. I'll do the same thing again for the number 10. I'll come in here, I'll type in 10, I'll hit enter, we'll click apply and close. If we scroll out, number 10 is back at the middle. Let's drag him up here. We're gonna just scroll right in. I'm gonna rotate him. I'm gonna grab that center node. Now I'm gonna keep zooming in and out. I want to make sure that even though I'm eyeballing it, I still try to get it as close to correct as I can. Okay, 5 or 10. Now I'm not going to make everybody wait and sit as I go around this track and I do the numbers. Now the other thing I will also tell you is when we group this set of 4 right here, there's a reason for that, and these 2, there's a reason for that. I won't make you sit through the numbers, but what I will do is I will come down and we're going to go to create vectors again. We're going to go back down to our text. I'm going to type in the word start. You can do it all caps, whatever you decide. And I'm going to try this font height at 375 or 3/8. Let's click apply and close. I'm going to grab the start and I'm going to pull him up. Now he is, let's take a peek at his overall dimension. Transform objects, set selected object size. We know that we're 1 inch wide and with 0.387 high, and that's fine. Again, we're going to come down here. I'm going to highlight him. I'm going to rotate him. I'm going to make sure that my center node is between my holes on this line. You can sit here, you can play with your rotation a little bit. Scroll in, scroll out. I actually think I want my word start. I want it all caps. Oh. Okay, I'll click apply. Let's close. Alright, this would be your starting position. Your 5 count, your 10 count. We'll get back to the numbers in just a second. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a finish, and we're going to go all caps with that. And we're going to click apply. Same thing again. And you can either put your finish here, or you can put it on the other side of your two holes, whichever you prefer. Again, it's your table. Or you could go to an actual cribbage site and refer to official rules if you'd like. Alright. And again, our node is right on the center. There we go. So we got our start, we have our finish, and we have our numbers started. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to go around, I'll put the rest of the numbers in, and then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull in a center engraving, which will be out of our openclipart.org library, which will include a link. It's free for you folks to use. Go in and take whatever you want. And we're just going to grab a real simple, already pre-programmed wildlife critter to drop in the middle of this table. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Alright, so we've got our numbers around now. What we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to take out this little reference line that was the halfway point between our holes. Click anywheres on them. You can either right-click and hit delete, or you can hit delete on your keyboard. Alright, now that that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to add our center engraving, and then from there we're going to run our tool pass, and that's it. This piece is done. Alright, now I did tell you that I was going to be using one of the animals from our openclipart.org wildlife folder. Okay, these are all the images. I won't make you sit and go over them with you, but there's quite a few in here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to probably grab the buck running over the jumping over the log. Let me get that out of the way. And what we'll do is we're going to drag him in. I'm going to pull him in as a CRV file. You can also pull him in as a DXF or an EPS. I believe we offer both of those in our open source library. We're going to drag in the deer into the middle. Kapow. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Transform Objects. We're going to align him to the center. I'll click Close. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight him again so I see all my nodes lit up. I'm going to come over to Transform Objects. We're going to set Selected Object Size. Now is where you want to make sure your Link X and Y box is checked. We want to make sure that that's checked so that when we make one adjustment to either the X or the Y, the other one will automatically and symmetrically readjust correctly, okay? So on our height, let's go, and to get an idea of what your heights are, we'll just unhighlight the deer for a minute. Let's highlight this box right here. Okay, I'm 18 inches from my highest point to my lowest point. I just did that for reference, no more, no less. I'm going to come in, we're going to highlight Mr. Whitetail again. Make sure nothing else is highlighted in this box, okay? I'm going to come down to Transform Objects. We're going to set Selected Object Size, and under his height, let's go 15 point. We'll click Apply. E. That's a little bit bigger than I think I'm going to want, so let's go 14. Remember, our Link X and Y is automatically checked. Alrighty, well, guess what? I think that looks pretty sharp right there. I think that is going to make a really nice cribbage table. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up to Tool Pass now. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start cutting our tool pass out. Okay. I like to do an outer bevel. You may choose to do none at all. You may choose to do a decorative edge with a decorative router bit. I don't know. That's entirely up to you. Again, it's your table. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into Profile Toolpath. With my outer bevel lit, I am going to go to the outside. Remember that when my bit hits, I want it to work on the outside of that edge so that dimensionally I don't lose any of my overall dimension. So I'm to the outside. I am going to select a 90-degree half-inch V-bit, You will need to set your spindle speed and your feed rate to what your machine is. Like I said, I've got the biggest router that I think you can probably jam in one of these machines. However, I don't have a spindle. Somebody with a spindle is clearly going to be able to run this faster than my capabilities, and I've got a bigger router than you. Well then, I'm probably milling a little bit quicker than you. No more, no less. We click OK. I know that I'm going to want, let's say, I'm going to go with like 187 thousandths. I'm going to go with a nice 3/16 of an inch bevel on that outside deep. Okay, and that's just what we're going to call it. We're going to call it outer bevel. I'm going to click calculate. My first line is in. And we'll make that first toolpath color black. Alright, next thing I'm going to do. Unclick him. Close out my preview. I'm going to come back up to my toolpath operations again. I want to do this interior line. However, this one I want to do dead on, and I'm only going to go 60 to 75 thousandths. We'll call it 75. You can always mill light, you can always go back, and you can always go a little bit deeper. If you hog him out too deep first time around, well, you might be bumming because you've cut too deep. Alright, this is going to be my inner bevel. We click calculate. Let's close him out. Alright, great. Next thing we're going to do. Now we're going to switch things over and we're going to install a V-bit. Alright, I'm going to go to Vcarve. I am going to use my 60-degree 1/4 inch V-bit. I'm not worried about a flat area clearance tool by any stretch here. Alrighty, and we're going to do start and finish. I'm going to highlight these. Again, I'm not sure how deep to start out with, so I'll go about 40 thousandths. I'll adjust my feeds and speeds accordingly. I'll click calculate. We can always add a little color here if we want. Next thing I'm going to do, same thing again, 40 thousandths, same bit. We're going to come around, hold down your shift key. And with your left mouse button, we need to light up all of our numbers around our board. Numbers, calculate, great, we've got them. Let's close, come back to new, uncheck your box, highlight somewheres on the white, that unchecks them. Next thing we need to do is we need to go in, we need to do the deer. I think the deer is going to come out absolutely exquisite. We're going to highlight the deer, holding down the shift key. Any areas that we've missed, we now need to come in and highlight. Alright, and quite simple. Deer. We'll click calculate. Great. Alright, this one I'm going to put in black. Let's close it. My numbers. I'm going to put my numbers right here in red. Let's preview all our toolpaths thus far. Great. Alright. Now, one of the last things we need to do is we need to go in and we need to highlight all our holes for our drilling toolpath function. I don't think there's any one easy way to do this, so I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to highlight blocks the best I can. We also need to take out the numbers and any letters that we don't need. So basically what I'm going to do, holding down the shift key, I'm not going to make you sit through this again. We're going to go in, we're going to highlight all of our rounds, and we'll be right back. Alright, We've got everything highlighted here. Oh, let's hold down our shift key. We need to unhighlight that outer rim. We're going to come into our drilling toolpath function. Now, I only need to go, we're going to say 300 thousandths deep with that drill bit. All right. We're going to be using 1/4" end mill. We're going to retract above the cutting start depth. Now, reason I do this is I pull the bit all the way up and out of the material. Yes, it adds a little bit more mill time. However, I'm using a downcut bit, so it allows any excess debris to come flying up out of the hole. You can also set it to dwell at the bottom of each drill pass. Or I keep it simple. I either retract above the cutting start depth, or I retract above the height of the previous pass where you can set it. I don't change the drill parameter here. I click calculate. We will make all of those holes in fact black. Let's go reset. No, let's cancel this out. Let's go reset, and let's preview all our tool paths one last time. All right, folks, that's it right there. That is the whole job. Now, I told you we weren't going to be doing a scene or anything with this. I was just doing a quick drop and drag animal. Now, we're going to include the links to the library. Please go in, and we'll actually even throw you guys in this cribbage table folder if you'd like, all right? And what you can do is you can drop in any animal you want, any scene you want. The one thing that I will do for all of you, we'll go out and I'll also save you the template of the table. I'll pull the deer out. We'll give you the template with the deer, and I'll give it without the deer, so that you have the ability to go in and you can drop in something else into the center if you'd like, okay? All right, everybody. Well, that's going to about do it. I appreciate everybody for hanging on this long. I know that these videos are a little long, but again, there's a lot that goes into CAD, and I don't know of any easy way to show people how to do this in 5 or 6 minutes, okay? All right, well, you guys stay tuned. We have more coming up this week. I'll release video as it's available, and we'll continue on with this project. All right, everybody, please have a good week. Get home safe to you and yours, and we hope to see you Wednesday for the midweek shout-out. All right, everyone, take care, and bye-bye.